Hello and welcome. It's good that you're here. Wherever this finds you, the day is allowed to be over now. All of it. The parts that went well, and the parts that went sideways, and the parts that simply went. None of it needs you any longer tonight, and none of it will be improved by being carried to bed. Tonight is the longest episode we have made. 4 hours, built for the whole night, and built out of the greatest going-out story ever told. A people brought out of a hard land, walked through a sea, fed every morning, and led every single night by a pillar of fire that never once went out. It is a story absolutely full of nights. And in every one of them, the same thing is true. Somebody is keeping watch, and it is never the sleepers. The shape of tonight is the shape of a long night itself. The first stretch is the story, told slow. Then the watches. The story rested in, revisited more and more slowly. The readings returning like tide. And then a long current of music to carry whatever is left of the dark. If you wake at some strange hour and this is still going, nothing has been missed. The episode expected you. It was built for exactly that hour. So settle now. Let the bed take everything, your weight, your warmth, the day. Let your hands lie wherever they lie. If your eyes are heavy, let them close here, at the beginning. Nothing in the next 4 hours will ask them to open. And you don't need to remember anything, or follow along, or stay. If you drift, drift. This story has been finding its way through the dark for 3,500 years. It does not need a guide. It may help to know, before we start, that this story was told at night from the very beginning, on purpose, by design. The Passover meal it centers on is an evening meal, eaten after dark, and the command attached to it was, "Tell the children." So for 3,500 years, this exact story has been told in lamplight, at tables, to people getting sleepy, the little ones drowsing against the grown ones long before the end. It is not being borrowed for bedtime tonight. It is home at bedtime. It has done most of its work in history on listeners exactly as horizontal as you. One slower breath before we begin. In, easy. Out, longer than in, the way a heavy door settles into its frame. Once more. In, unhurried. Out, and let the last errand of the day go out with it. There. However that went is good enough. The night does not grade breathing. And let the room be part of it. Whatever room this is, it is doing quiet, competent work around you right now, holding the weather out, keeping its long promises. Rooms are good at night. They have had all of human history to practice. Tonight, in the story, you will hear a great deal about sheltered rooms, marked doors, and a light that stands outside all night, so that everyone inside can stop standing watch. Your room is in that lineage. It knows what to do. Begin in Egypt, in the evening, a long time ago. Mud brick villages along the great slow river, cooking smoke going up into a bronze sky, and a people far from home, in a hard season that had lasted so long that hardness had come to seem like the weather, permanent, unaskable, just how things were. Stay in that evening a moment before the trouble is named, because even hard seasons have their evenings, and evenings have always been the mercy inside them. The day's quota done, whatever it cost. The river turning to hammered copper in the last light. Bread on the fire. Children who can find play inside anything, playing in the lanes between the houses. Old songs from home, sung low, the way exiles sing, half memory and half address. Even in the hardest chapters, this book keeps noticing. The evening comes anyway, unbought and unbossed, and lays its hand on everything. It has come tonight, to your address, on the same schedule. We will be honest about their trouble in one breath, the way you would be honest with a child at bedtime. And then we will get to the good part, because the story itself is in a hurry to get there. They were slaves. The work was heavy, and the years were long, and at night, in the mud brick houses, people groaned the low private groan of the worn out, not aimed at anyone, not expecting an answer, the kind of sound a person makes at the end of a day that was too much, in the middle of a life that has been too much for a while. And now listen to what the scripture says happened to that sound. God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. God heard their groaning, not their prayers, notice, their groaning, the unworded sound, the sigh at the end of the day that isn't addressed to anybody, that doesn't have the strength left to be a prayer. That is just tiredness escaping a person. That is the sound that reached heaven and set this entire story in motion, which means the bar for being heard is on the floor, where anyone can reach it. If all you brought to this bed tonight is a sigh, you have already said everything this God requires. The rest of the story is what he does about it. The scripture even keeps the timing honest. It says their cry came up to God in the course of those many days. Not instantly. In the course of many days. The hearing was immediate. The visible answering took the time such answerings take. Moses growing old in Midian, the bush not yet burning, all the machinery of rescue assembling out of sight, while the evenings in Egypt went on being ordinary and hard. If you have sighed the same sigh for many days now, the account is not stale. In this story, the long-standing sigh turned out to be the most answered sound in history. Duration is not evidence of dismissal. Some answers are simply large, and large things load slowly. And God remembered his covenant. There is that word again, the one that carried Noah. Remembered. Not a memory returning, a promise standing up. It had been standing up the whole time, through every one of those long years, the way dawn is underway at midnight. The groaning did not inform God of anything. It was the appointed signal, and the answer was already dressed and waiting. The scripture adds two more verbs in that little passage, quiet ones, easy to walk past. God saw the children of Israel, it says, and God was concerned about them. saw, and was concerned. Between the hearing and the rescuing, there is this: attention with feeling in it. Not a system registering an input, a face turning. The old translators reached for different words there, but every one of them was trying to say the same untranslatable thing, that the seeing was not neutral. You are seen tonight in exactly that grammar. Not monitored, regarded. There is concern in the looking, and it is for you, and it was there before you lay down. A hard land told in one honest breath, a tired people making the sound tired people make, and a God who hears groaning, remembers covenant, and begins to move, all before a single prayer is properly worded. That is where the longest night story in the Bible begins. It begins with heaven hearing a sigh. Yours is heard on the same terms. You can put the words down now. The sigh is enough. Far from Egypt, in the back country of Midian, a shepherd was keeping someone else's sheep on the far side of the wilderness. He was 80 years old. His name was Moses, and his story, as far as he knew, was over. A big beginning, a bad middle, and now 40 years of sheep. He was the least likely man in the world to be standing at the hinge of history, which is, in this book, the most reliable qualification there is. And on an ordinary working afternoon, on a mountain called Horeb, he saw a bush burning that did not burn up, and turned aside to look, and heard his name said twice out of the fire, and answered the way the old ones always answered, "Here I am." "Take your shoes off," said the voice. "The ground is holy." And then the voice introduced itself as the God of his father, of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob, and said why it had come. Listen to the verbs. Every one of them is worth a night's sleep. Take your shoes off. Of all the things holiness might have asked of a man, it asked that. Not climb higher, not cover your face and crawl. Undo the straps, feel the ground. Stand at ease the way a man stands in his own house at the end of the day. Shoes, in that world, were for the road, for effort, for being ready. Bare feet were for home. The first instruction God ever gave Moses was, in effect, be at home here. The holy ground was not a parade ground. It received him like a hearth rug. You took your own shoes off hours ago. By the oldest sign there is, you are standing somewhere it is safe to be at ease. And consider, for a moment, the 40 years of quiet that led to that afternoon. Moses had tended sheep on those slopes long enough to know every well and every wadi, long enough for Egypt to become a story he no longer told. 40 years of ordinary evenings, folding flocks, banking fires, sleeping under the enormous desert stars, while a whole other life he knew nothing about ripened toward him. We call such years the middle of nowhere. This book keeps insisting there is no such place. The backside of the wilderness had holy ground in it the whole time, ordinary sand until the day it wasn't. The unremarkable years of a life are not off the map. They are the map being drawn. Some of yours are being drawn tonight, at this hour, in this quiet, which is not nowhere either. The Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. I have seen, I have heard, I know. Before one thing changes in Egypt, before a single door of the story opens, God states his qualifications, and they are all qualifications of attention. The seeing has been going on the whole time. The hearing has missed nothing. The knowing goes all the way down. I know their sorrows. Not I have been briefed on their sorrows. No, the close word. The word for what you carry, not what you file. And then, the verse that the whole Bible turns on, quietly, like a key. I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and large land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. I have come down, not I will send instructions, not I will watch with interest. Come down into it. The direction of this God, whenever his people are in a low place, is always the same direction, and it is down toward them into the trouble, personally. You heard it in Joseph's story. I will go down with you into Egypt. You will hear it all night tonight. Whatever low place holds any listener of this episode, the traffic from heaven runs one way, and it is downward, and it is toward you. An old shepherd, a bush that burned and didn't, and a voice with its verbs in order. Seen, heard, known, come down. The attention was never off. The coming down is the family trait of this God. Rest inside those verbs tonight. You are seen the same way, heard the same way, known the same way, and the direction of help is still down, and it still arrives. So Moses went back to Egypt, sandals in the dust of the long road, carrying nothing but a staff and a promise. And to a people too worn out to hope, God sent ahead one of the most beautiful stacked promises in all of Scripture. 4 I wills, each one taller than the last. Listen to them climb. Therefore tell the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm, and with great judgments. I will bring you out, I will rid you, I will redeem you. Count who is doing everything in that sentence. The people are not asked to fight their way out, or earn their way out, or even believe very well. Every verb belongs to God. Their entire assignment, when the night finally came, would be to eat a meal and stay indoors. Hold that. The biggest rescue in the Old Testament assigned its beneficiaries a supper and an early night. It is not the last time rest itself would be the assignment. And the promise found them tired. That is worth a slow breath. The Scripture is honest that when Moses first carried those 4 I wills to the people, they could not take them in, for anguish of spirit, the text says, and for cruel bondage. They were too worn out to hope well. And here is the mercy in what happened next. The promise did not take offense and did not withdraw, and did not wait for their faith to improve. It simply went on becoming true at its own pace, carrying its own weight, until the night it knocked on their marked doors with their freedom in its hands. Promises of God are load-bearing. They do not need your optimism as a subsidy. If you are too tired tonight to hope well, you are in the exact condition of the people this rescue was designed for. And it worked anyway. And it works anyway. Between the promise and the night of leaving came a hard season for Egypt, the plagues, the long contest between Pharaoh's no and heaven's patience. We are not going to walk through those nights. They were storm nights, and this is not a storm episode, and you do not need them. It is enough to say that the God who had come down kept coming, that every no was outlasted, and that at the end of it all, there was one final night, the strangest and most sheltered night in the whole Old Testament. The story slows down for that night, all the way down, and so will we. One detail from that hard season is worth keeping, though, because it glows in the dark. Through the worst of those weeks, the Scripture pauses to note that in the land of Goshen, where the people lived, there was light in their dwellings. While the contest raged outside, the children of Israel had light in their houses, ordinary lamplight on ordinary suppers, an island of evening inside a national storm. The trouble of that season was real, and it was also, at the level of their own doorways, held off. That is a thing God does that rarely makes the summaries. He keeps kitchens lit inside hard chapters. Yours is lit tonight. The storm, whatever it is not in the room. 4 I wills, stacked like a staircase, every verb on God's side of the ledger. A hard season passed over gently, as hard seasons should be at this hour. And ahead, one night, the night of nights, where the whole rescue came down to a lamb, a doorway, and a family staying in. The story is about to become a bedtime story, in the most literal sense there is. Here is the night, then, Passover night. And notice, before anything else, what kind of instructions it came with. Not battle orders, recipe and curfew, a lamb roasted, bread without leaven, bitter herbs, sandals on, staff in hand, and a mark of blood on a door frame, lintel and 2 posts, the sign of shelter over every entrance. And then the instruction that makes this, forever, the patron night of everyone tucked in anywhere. You shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. None of you shall go out of the door of his house until the morning. None of you shall go out of the door of his house until the morning. There it is, the command at the center of the great deliverance, and it is, stay in, stay home, be with your family, inside, behind the marked door, until the sun comes up. Salvation, on its biggest night, looked from the inside like a family gathered in lamplight with the door shut. It looked like your room looks right now. Stay inside one of those houses a while. A small room, mud brick, warm with cooking, and crowded with everyone who belongs to it. The lamb shared out, the flat bread passing hand to hand, the youngest asking the question the night was designed around, why is this night different from all other nights? And the oldest answering, unhurried, the way the answer has been given ever since. Sandals on every foot, staffs leaning by the wall, a people dressed for a journey they had to trust would exist by morning. And on the doorframe, unseen from inside, the mark, doing all the work. No one in that room could see the thing keeping them. They had lamplight, family, supper, and a word. It was enough. It is the same inventory this room has tonight, and it is still enough. And think of the hour after the supper, because every supper has one. The bowls scraped and set aside, the little ones going heavy-eyed against shoulders, carried to the sleeping mats dressed as they were, sandals and all. The talk falling to murmurs, then to nothing. Some houses, surely, where a grandmother hummed, and outside, over the whole district of marked doors, the deep quiet of a night that heaven had reserved for itself. The people did the most ordinary things in the world that night, cleared a table, settled children, banked a fire, lay down. History was moving at the doorpost, and the household's whole liturgy was bedtime. It is a combination this book loves. The largest things of God and the smallest routines of families, sharing one roof. They are sharing yours tonight. And what made the inside safe was not the stoutness of the door. It was the mark on it, and the meaning of the mark. Listen. The blood shall be to you for a token on the houses where you are. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague will be on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. The safety of everyone sleeping in those houses rested on what God saw at the doorway, not on what they felt in the dark. Some of them surely lay awake that night, hearts going, listening to the enormous quiet. Some of them, being human, surely slept. And morning found the wakeful and the sleeping equally safe, because the token was on the door either way. Feelings kept no one that night. The mark kept everyone. That is worth more than a mattress full of feathers, if you let it hold you. Your keeping tonight is not resting on the quality of your calm. It is outside you, on the doorpost, where it cannot be shaken by anything your heart does in the dark. And there is one more kindness in the design of that night, small and easy to miss. The households were told to share. If a household was too little for a lamb, the instruction said, "Let him and his neighbor next to his house take one together." The Night of Nights made provision for the small house, the widow's table, the family of 2, folding them in with the family of 12 next door, so that no one kept that night alone. The great deliverance was also, at street level, a seating arrangement, and it seated everyone. Whoever you are, however your household counts tonight, the table of this story has always had a policy about small houses, and the policy is, next door, with us, come. And the scripture itself steps back from that night and says a sentence with awe still in it, thousands of years later. It is a night to be much observed to the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Lord, to be much observed by all the children of Israel throughout their generations. A night to be much observed, the Lord's own night. There are nights, this book insists, that belong to God in a special way. Nights when the watch is His, and the work is His, and the outcome is His, and His people's whole part is to be indoors and at rest while He keeps it. Every night since has a little of that night in it. This one included. The watch is kept. The door is marked. You may treat tonight as one of the observed nights, and sleep like a child in Goshen. A recipe and a curfew. Blood on the doorposts, family in the lamplight, none of you shall go out until the morning. safety resting on what God saw at the door, not on what anyone felt in the dark, so the anxious and the peaceful woke equally kept. A night that belonged to the Lord. Tonight can be lodged under the same arrangement. The keeping is at the door, and it is not your job. No story for a while, just the room and the dark and the door of this house doing its quiet work. There is a psalm verse that paints the Passover arrangement in one line, a whole camp's worth of safety around a single sleeper. Listen. The Lord's angel encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Encamps, not visits, not checks in. Encamps, pitches tents, settles in for the night, around, on every side. The picture is of a guarded perimeter with you in the middle of it, and the guard is not pacing anxiously. He has set up camp. He is staying. If sleep is near, go to it now. The camp holds. And if it is not near, let the quiet hold you anyway, the way the water holds a boat that isn't sailing. Some sleep comes like the tide, all at once. Some comes the way the sea road came, by a wind working patiently over hours, unfelt from inside the tents. Both are sleep. Both arrive. The night is long tonight on purpose, and it is all provisioned, and no part of it needs to be crossed quickly. And at midnight, the great door of Egypt swung open, and by morning a whole people were walking out with their bread bowls on their shoulders, out of the mud brick villages, out of the long bondage, out under an open sky that belonged suddenly to their future. 600,000 on foot, with children, with flocks, with the dough that had no time to rise. A nation-sized family on a road with no map. And here, the story installs its nightlight, the loveliest piece of infrastructure in the Old Testament. Picture the first camp of the Freedom, that first evening out. Tents going up in unpracticed rows, flocks settling on strange grass, the bread of haste baking flat on the fires, the taste of the whole story in every bite. Children asleep before full dark, worn out by the largest day of their lives, and grown people standing a long time at their tent doors, looking back the way they had come, letting it become real at the speed such things become real, which is slowly and mostly at night. Freedom takes some sleeping on. So does every large mercy. Whatever large thing is half arrived in your life, tonight is part of how it lands. The Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud, to lead them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, that they might go by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night didn't depart from before the people. A pillar of fire by night to give them light. Think what that meant, camped in a wilderness that had frightened travelers since travelers began. Every family in that camp, lying down in their tent, could see through the tent walls the great warm glow of it, steady over the sleeping nation like a hearth over a house. No one in Israel ever went to sleep in full darkness again. All those wilderness years. The last thing a child saw at night, and the first thing at waking, was the same faithful light, burning on nobody's fuel, tended by nobody's hands. And the second verse is the one to keep under your pillow. It didn't depart, never once, not on the good nights, not after the complaining days, not in the long middle years when the road felt endless. The light was not a reward for good behavior. It was a presence, and presences of this kind do not come and go with the weather of the camp. There is a glow like it over this room, unseeable and unfailing, and it will be there at 3 in the morning, and it will be there at dawn, and it has never once departed from before its people, and it will not begin with you. Think what it was to be a child in that camp, to have never known in your whole small life a truly dark night, to be carried out of the tent, half asleep, on some errand of the family, and see it standing there over everything, the tall, warm patience of it, and to feel about it what children feel about the light under a parent's door. Someone is up. Someone is always up. All the wilderness children of that generation grew old with that certainty laid down in them before memory. The psalm they taught their grandchildren says it plainly. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. They were not repeating doctrine. They were describing the night light of their childhood. It is still burning, one camp over from every bed. Out by midnight, a nation walking into the open, and over every night of the road, a pillar of fire, light to sleep by, light that didn't depart, ever, for anyone, tended by no one. The night light of the people of God. It is still lit. Sleep in the glow of it. There is one more mercy in the marching order, easy to miss. The scripture says God did not lead them by the short way, the coast road, though it was near, because the short way ran through war, and the people might lose heart and turn back. So he took them the long way around, the wilderness way, the way that had time in it, slower and safer, and chosen for them on purpose, with their hearts in mind. If some road of yours has been longer than it needed to be, this verse has been waiting 3,500 years to make its gentle suggestion. Perhaps the length is not a failure of navigation. Perhaps it is the kindness. The long way is sometimes the way with your heart in mind, and the pillar walks it at the same unhurried pace, and it arrives. The road out ran them straight to the edge of the sea, water ahead, mountains beside, and behind them, dust on the horizon. Pharaoh's chariots, come to take back what heaven had let go. The people stood on that shore with nowhere to put their feet, and fear coming up in them like a tide. And into that moment, Moses said the sentence that this episode would choose above every other sentence in the book, if it had to keep only one. Listen to it slowly. It was written for shorelines, and it works on beds. Moses said to the people, "Don't be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For you will never again see the Egyptians whom you have seen today. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall be still." The Lord will fight for you, and you shall be still. There is the whole arrangement in 11 words. The verbs are sorted once and for all. The fighting is his, the stillness is yours. Not stillness as a technique to earn the fighting. Stillness as the result of knowing whose the fighting is. Every anxious rehearsal running in any mind at this hour is an application for a job that 11 words ago was permanently filled. And notice tenderly who the sentence was said to. Not to veterans, to people mid-panic, on their worst shore, with the dust of the chariots actually visible. The scripture does not pretend they were calm. They were crying out and saying bitter, frightened things, the way frightened people do. And stillness was not demanded of them as a precondition. It was announced to them as a destination. You shall be still. Future tense, load-bearing, carried by someone else. However far from still you feel on any given shore, the sentence has met worse and delivered anyway. It is not waiting for your composure. It is bringing it. And then God turned to the sea. All that night, the scripture says, a strong east wind moved over the water, and the waters were divided, and there was a road on the sea floor where no road had ever been, with the water, a wall on the right hand and on the left. All that night, the making of the way was night work, like Pharaoh's dream, like Jacob's comfort, like every hinge in these stories. The people crossed on dry ground in the dark, a nation walking a road that had not existed at sundown, with the pillar of fire standing rear guard behind them, light on their side of it, and the way shut behind. All that night, stay inside those 3 words, because they are where you live at this hour. From the shore, nothing looked like rescue for most of that night. Wind and darkness and water. Anyone watching the sea at midnight saw weather, not a road. The road existed at dawn because the wind had been making it all night, unannounced, unapplauded, 1 hour of unglamorous move-in air at a time. Most of what God builds is built at that pace, in that privacy. Something in your life has whined over it tonight, working the long shift. It does not need you on the shore supervising. The road will be there when the road is needed, and not 1 hour before, which is the only schedule roads of this kind have ever kept. And in the morning watch, the scripture says, the sea went back to its place, and the danger that had chased them out of Egypt was simply gone, finished, and they never saw it again, exactly as promised on the shore. We will let the story keep its morning, and keep our own eyes on the night part, which is ours. A road made in the dark, by wind, over hours, while a rescued people walked, and their children slept on their shoulders. On the far shore, in the first light, the people did the thing rescued people do. They sang. Miriam took up a tambourine, and the women went out after her, and the song rolled up the beach with the morning. Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. It is the oldest recorded song in the Bible, and it was composed on no notice at all, because gratitude writes fast. We will not sing it tonight. Morning songs are for mornings, and yours will come with yours. But it is good to fall asleep knowing the song is there, on the other side of the crossing, already written. The way, the manna, is already appointed, and the road is already being made. The night ends in music in this story. It is a reliable genre. The Psalms remembered that night, crossing ever after with a kind of hush. Listen to how tenderly. Your way was through the sea, your paths through the great waters. Your footsteps were not known. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Your footsteps were not known. God's own tracks through that night were invisible, the psalm says. The way was real, the leading was real, the arriving was real, and the mechanics were never once on display. You led your people like a flock. Sheep do not study navigation. They are led, and they arrive, and the footsteps of the leading are not known, and it works anyway. It is working now, somewhere under your life, on the same terms. A shore with no way forward, and 11 words that sorted the verbs forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall be still. A road made by wind, in the dark, over hours. A crossing on dry ground, children asleep on shoulders, and footsteps that were never known, leading a flock that never needed to know them. Be still, then. The being still is the whole of your share tonight. Rest here. The sea is behind in the story. The singing on the far shore has quieted down. The camp is settling. From the psalm of the workers and the warriors once more, because it belongs to this hour in every episode. It is vain for you to rise up early, to stay up late, eating the bread of toil, for he gives sleep to his loved ones. He gives sleep to his loved ones, handed across the table like bread. The hands that receive it tonight do not need to be strong, or finished, or sure, only open. Now the wilderness years begin, and here is the surprise of them, the thing nobody expects who has not read slowly. The wilderness chapters of this story are mostly about food and water and rest. The dramatic parts are famous, but the daily substance of the wandering was this: how a huge family got fed, watered, and safely to sleep every day for years in a land that provided none of it. The wilderness is where God showed his housekeeping. The people worried about bread, as people rightly do, and the answer came in the evening with instructions attached that are half economics and half lullaby. I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, "At evening you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God." In the morning you shall be filled with bread. And so it was, morning after morning, a fine flake on the ground with the dew, white like coriander seed, tasting of wafers and honey, and they called it manna. Each family gathered its day's portion, a measure per person, and here was the rule that made it a school of rest. You could not stockpile it. Gather for today, eat for today, and go to bed with empty shelves and a full promise. Tomorrow's bread did not exist yet anywhere in the world, and it would be lying on the ground at sunrise anyway. Let the gathering hour have one slow picture. Early morning in the camp, the light new and thin, the dew still on everything, families out among the tents with baskets and bowls, unhurried, gleaning the white harvest off the desert floor like children picking up snow. No plowing had produced it. No worry had produced it. It was simply there, the way the morning was there, part of the same delivery. And the strangest, kindest line in the whole account: he who gathered much had nothing over, and he who gathered little had no lack. The anxious overgatherers and the slow, the strong hands and the small, all of them walked home with enough. The system did not reward hustle and did not punish weariness. It resolved everyone to enough. Whatever you did or did not get done today, you fall tonight into that same arithmetic. It resolves to enough. Every night in that camp, then, was a small act of trust performed horizontally. 1,000,000 people lying down provisioned for exactly one day, sleeping on the reliability of morning. And morning never missed. Not once in 40 years. The mercies, another book says, are new every morning. And this is the story that taught everyone to say so. Your shelves may feel light tonight, in one way or another. The bread for tomorrow is not your overnight assignment. It is not anywhere yet. It will be on the ground, with the dew. And one morning a week, a double portion fell, so that the seventh day could be pure rest, no gathering, no work, breakfast already in the jar. Rest was so far inside the design that the food itself kept the Sabbath. The system fed them and then insisted they lie down. It has not changed management. It is worth hearing how strange that was in the ancient world. No other nation rested on schedule. Rest everywhere else was what you got if you were rich or dead. And here was a people fresh out of slavery, the very people whose bodies knew best what it was to work without ceasing, being commanded, as law, from the top to stop. To down tools weekly, everyone, the servant and the stranger and the ox, because rest was no longer a luxury to be earned, but a rhythm to be received. The Sabbath was the anti-Egypt, built into the week. Every bedtime is a small Sabbath on the same principle. You are not stopping tonight because the work is done. The work is never done. Egypt taught that lie, and God unteaches it. You are stopping because stopping is commanded, provided for, and kept. The double portion is in the jar. Bread with the dew, every morning, 40 years, no misses. A day's portion and no stockpiling, so every bedtime was practice in trusting the morning. And a double portion before every rest day, because the rest was the point all along. Sleep tonight, the manna way. Provisioned for today, promised for tomorrow. Shelves honestly empty, and the sky honestly reliable. Not every stop in the wilderness was a test. The itinerary, read slowly, keeps landing on kindnesses. Bitter water at Marah, made sweet with a thrown branch. Water from the rock at Rephidim, cold out of the stone. And this one verse of pure oasis, which we will read now and then, simply stay inside for a while. They came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. They encamped there by the waters. They encamped there by the waters. That is the whole verse and the whole event. Nothing happens at Elim. No test, no battle, no lesson. 12 springs, one for every tribe, as if counted out in advance. 70 palms, deep shade at noon, dates overhead, the sound of water in a dry land. And a tired nation pitching its tents by the pools and staying a while. Because the itinerary of God, it turns out, schedules oases. Stay there with them tonight. Evening at Elim. The palms going dark against a sky still holding light at the rim. Cook fires and the smell of bread. Children asleep early, worn out from swimming. The springs talking quietly to themselves in the dark. 12 soft voices. The pillar of fire standing its warm watch over the whole green mile of it. Somewhere, a mother sings the old songs half under her breath. And sleep coming to that camp the way sleep comes at the end of a good day near water. Easily, early, and deep. And notice where Elim sits in the itinerary, because the placement is the tenderness. It comes one verse after Marah, the bitter water, the hard stop. One verse. The oasis was already there, springs already running, dates already ripening, while the people stood at Marah tasting disappointment and concluding, as tired people will, that the whole wilderness would taste that way. It was an afternoon's walk from the bitterest hour to the 12 springs. They could not know that at Marah. No one ever can. That is precisely why this verse was kept, so that people lying awake at their own Marahs at this hour could hear the itinerary read one stop further ahead. Elim is on your route too. It is already green. It is closer than the bitter water suggests. The wilderness had Elims in it. That is worth carrying out of tonight. The hard road keeps pools of rest in it, placed in advance, counted to fit the family. This hour is meant to be one of them. Marah made sweet, water from rock, and Elim, where nothing happens except 12 springs, 70 palms, and a nation sleeping by the waters. The road of God schedules oases, sized to the family, placed before the family arrives. You are camped at one now. Nothing happens here. That is the feature. And before Elim, at Marah itself, notice what the healing of the water asked of Moses. The people could not drink. The pool was bitter. And the Lord, the scripture says, showed him a tree, and he threw it into the waters, and the waters were made sweet. Showed him. The remedy was already growing beside the bitterness, rooted there since before the people arrived, waiting only to be pointed out. This book does that constantly, if you watch for it. The ram already in the thicket, the caravan already on the road, the tree already by the pool. Provision in these stories is almost never manufactured on the spot. It is revealed, having been planted early. Whatever is bitter in your stretch of the road, the tree is already growing. Tonight is not for finding it. Tonight is for sleeping within reach of it. One more scene, the quietest hinge in the whole journey. Deep in the wilderness years, in a season of failure and repair that we will pass over gently, Moses stood before God with the road ahead unknown and asked, in effect, the only question that ever really matters about any road: who is going with us? And the answer he received is 7 words long, and it is the destination of this entire episode. Listen. He said, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Every night of the story has been saying this in pictures, and here it is said plain. The pillar of fire was this sentence, burning. The manna was this sentence, edible. The road through the sea was this sentence, walkable. Presence and rest. The going with and the giving. This book never once offers rest apart from presence, because it does not believe such rest exists. And it never offers presence without rest arriving, because it does not believe that is possible either. The two come as one gift, and the gift is not seasonal, and the gift is in this room. I will give you rest, not point you toward it, not sell it to you. Give. The last verb of the journey is the same verb as the manna, and the same verb as sleep itself in the psalm. Given, handed over, morning by morning and night by night, to hands that only have to be open. There is one more picture from those camps worth carrying to sleep. The tent of meeting stood at the edge of the camp, and when Moses went out to it, the pillar of cloud would come down and stand at its door. And the Lord spoke with Moses, the scripture says, as a man speaks with his friend, as a friend. The unapproachable fire of the mountain, and the sentence lands on friendship. All the thunder of this story, the sea and the signs and the shaken mountain, funnels down at last to 2 friends talking in a doorway in the evening, which is where the story of Noah began, if you remember, a man and his God walking. It is where every one of these stories has been going the whole time, not to spectacle, to company. The company is the point, and the company is present tense, and the company does not leave when you stop being able to stay awake for it. And when Moses came down from those meetings, his face shone. He did not know it, the scripture says. Everyone else could see it. The light of the company he kept had gotten into his skin, quietly, the way firelight gets into everything near the hearth. And he walked around the camp gently luminous and entirely unaware. That is how this kind of keeping works. It does not announce itself to the kept. It shows, later, in ways they are the last to notice. A settledness, a face that has been near the light. Hours kept in this presence leave residue, even sleeping hours, especially sleeping hours. You may walk into tomorrow carrying more glow than you know, from nothing more strenuous than tonight. The only question that matters about any road, who goes with us? And the 7-word answer under everything. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Presence and rest. One gift, never separated, never seasonal. The gift is current. The hands only have to be open. Yours already are. They opened when you lay down. The story is over now. Everything after this is only rest. If you are still awake, nothing is wrong. The camps of Israel divided the night into watches, and the deep middle of the night was simply a place, like a mile on a road, with its own watchman and its own quiet. You are in that mile now. It has been traveled by sleepless shepherds and nursing mothers and old men counting stars for 3,500 years, and it is safe, and it does not last. Nothing new happens from here to morning. That is a promise, not a warning. The story is told. From here the night only gets softer. The readings you have already heard, returning like tide, further and further apart, and then the long music. You do not need to listen. It is only here, so the room is never empty. Let the great sentences come back through the camp, one watchfire at a time. The sentence from the shore, first, the one that sorted the verbs forever. Moses said to the people, "Don't be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For you will never again see the Egyptians whom you have seen today. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall be still. You shall be still. It is not advice at this hour. It is a description of you coming true. A word for you if this is one of the strange hours, 2 or 3 or 4 by whatever clock is nearest, and you have surfaced without meaning to. Nothing has gone wrong. The camp of Israel was never silent at such hours either. Watch was changing quietly somewhere. A baby was being walked back to sleep along the tent rows under the glow. The night had traffic in it, and the traffic was safe, because the perimeter was not the sleeper's job. Let this hour be that kind of hour. Surfacing is not failing. It is one more turn in a kept camp, under a light that has not moved. The voice will still be here. You will go under again the way the camp always did, one tent at a time, without ceremony. And the nightlight over the sleeping nation that never once went out. The Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud, to lead them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, that they might go by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night didn't depart from before the people. Didn't depart. Present tense somewhere still. The glow is over this camp too. And the night of the Lamb once more, the sentence the whole telling was built around, said now the way it was always said last thing, when the little ones were already under. It is a night to be much observed to the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Lord, to be much observed by all the children of Israel throughout their generations. Throughout their generations. That is a long word, generations, and you are inside it. The chain of tellings that started in the marked houses has not broken once between that night and this one, table to table, lamp to lamp, all the way down to a voice in a dark room saying it again over you. This is that night of the Lord, kept then, kept since, kept now. And the guarded perimeter, pitched and staying. The Lord's angel encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. And the arrangement at the marked door, which never depended on the feelings of the sleepers. Hear the Oasis verse again, too. At second watch pace, slower than water. They came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. They encamped there by the waters. If the mind wants something to hold at this hour, give it the springs to count. 12 of them, out there in the dark beyond the tents, each one talking its low water talk to itself. Count them slowly, one for each tribe, one for each hour you will not be awake to see. 1, 2, 3. There is no prize for reaching 12, and no penalty for losing the count, which is, in fact, the preferred outcome. The springs do not stop when the counting does. And the arrangement at the marked door holds, hour by hour, seen at the door, kept from outside, the wakeful and the sleeping equally safe by morning, every time. Before the psalm of the keeper, one last slow pass through the whole story, the way a finished tale is retold at the very edge of sleep. All the corners rounded, half in pictures now. Mud brick villages by a great slow river, and a tired people making the sound tired people make, and heaven hearing it, and a promise standing up in the dark. A bush burning on a backcountry mountain, and an old shepherd barefoot on holy ground, and the verbs in order: seen, heard, known, come down. 4 I wills, climbing like a staircase, out, rid, redeem, mine. Then the night of the Lamb. Doorposts marked, lamplight inside, a family gathered at a late supper with their sandals on, and the great instruction of the sheltered: none of you shall go out until the morning. Midnight, and the door of Egypt swinging open. A nation walking out under the stars with bread bowls on their shoulders. A pillar of cloud going ahead of them into the days, and a pillar of fire standing over their nights, and neither one ever departing. A shore with no way, and 11 words, and a wind working all night, and a road on the sea floor by morning dark, walls of water standing patient on either hand, children asleep on shoulders halfway across. Footsteps not known, a flock led. Manna with the dew, morning after morning, 40 years, no misses, empty shelves and full promises, and a double portion before every day of rest. 12 springs and 70 palms, and a nation asleep by the waters, because the itinerary of God schedules oases. And the 7 words under all of it said plain at last, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." That is the whole of it. It is all still true, and none of it needs you awake. The oldest name for the last stretch of night is the morning watch. It is the watch this story crossed the sea in. Nothing is asked of anyone in the morning watch. It is the hour the watchmen themselves lean on the wall and let the certainty of dawn do the watching for them. The verses come further apart now, like watchfires at the edge of hearing. He said, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Presence and rest. One gift. Current. I laid myself down and slept. I awakened, for the Lord sustains me. The oldest arithmetic, the lying down yours, the sustaining his. Return to your rest, my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. Home, by the door you know, in the dark, with your eyes closed. And the gathering morning verse once more, for whatever the morning holds. It is vain for you to rise up early, to stay up late, eating the bread of toil, for he gives sleep to his loved ones. The manna verse and the sleep verse are the same verse in the end. Both given, both with the dew, both waiting on nothing but morning and open hands. The morning watch is the emptiest watch, and that is its gift. The fires are embers. The camp is one slow breathing thing. Even the watchmen talk in half sentences now, leaning on the wall, facing east out of habit rather than duty, because the one thing every watchman knows is coming is the one thing no watch has ever been needed for. Morning has never once required assistance. It is the most reliable event in the history of events, and it is already on its way up the far side of the world, unhurried, carrying bread. Whatever you carried to this bed has been set down along the way tonight, or is being set down now, the way loads are set down at the end of a long walk, one strap at a time. The doorpost is marked. The perimeter is camped. The fire has not departed. Nothing between here and sunrise is yours to carry. If any last thing is still circling, looking for a place to land, give it to the morning watch's one piece of business, which is handing things forward. The people of this story went to bed every night of 40 years with nothing in the jar and everything in the promise, and morning met them every time. Bread first. Tomorrow will meet you the same way, in order. Light, then bread, then whatever the day actually asks, which is almost never what the night predicted it would ask. The night is a poor forecaster and an excellent keeper. Let it do the second job only. Everything else has a morning assigned to it, and the morning is closer than it feels, and it comes up carrying breakfast. In peace I will both lay myself down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me live in safety. Both, the psalm says, the lying down and the sleep. You have long since done the first. The second is being given now, the way everything in this story is given, quietly, from outside, to open hands. And now, to carry you the rest of the way, the Psalm of the Keeper. The travelers of Israel said it on the night roads for 1,000 years, looking up at the dark hills, asking the old question and answering it line by line, like someone talking themselves to sleep. It is the psalm of everything you have heard tonight. The God who does not slumber, keeping a people who may. There is nothing after this but the blessing, so you can let go completely now. Psalm 121. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your soul. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forward and forevermore. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. You have spent 4 hours tonight with that Israel, the actual flock of the psalm, watching how the keep-in worked, the marked doors, the fire that didn't depart, the road in the sea, the bread with the dew. The psalm is not a poem about an idea. It is a testimonial from a nation that slept 40 years in a wilderness and was kept every single night. And the keeper has not changed shifts. You're going out and you're coming in from this time forward, beginning tonight, forevermore. The camp is quiet now, at the far end of the story. The pillar of fire stands its warm watch over the tents. The manna is already appointed for the morning, though it does not exist yet anywhere in the world. The springs of Elim are talking softly to themselves somewhere out in the dark. And here is a lovely thing to fall asleep knowing. The blessing this channel ends with every week, the one you may know by heart already, comes from this very story. It was given to Aaron in these same wilderness camps, words handed down out of the pillar's glow, to be spoken over this same sleeping people. When you receive it, you are camped with Israel, under the same watch. So receive it now. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his face toward you and give you peace. Keep you. The Psalm's word, and the manna's word, and the doorpost's word, and now the blessing's word, all the same word. You are inside it from every side, like a camp inside its watch. And the last word of the night belongs, as always, to the psalm this channel is named for. In peace I will both lay myself down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me live in safety. Good night, sleep well. The fire is lit, and it does not depart. What remains is not a story and not a teaching. It is a current, the music mostly, warm and slow beneath the rest of the night. A verse surfacing now and then, far apart, like watchfires seen across a dark camp. If you are hearing this, it is yours, and the watch is yours to sleep through. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall be still. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night didn't depart from before the people. He said, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. In peace I will both lay myself down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me live in safety. The fire is lit. The keeper is awake. Morning is certain. Sleep now.